There's a chance Jonathan Taylor has earned himself a trade. Now, Ian Rappaport, who told us on the program that if he was to go up for trade, there'd be a lot of teams interested, where I said, really? At this stage of the football calendar, with the amount of money we're assuming he's commanding in a sign-and-trade situation and what the Colts are looking for in return, there's going to be teams interested. That was kind of alarming. Ian said, absolutely. Now Ian is reporting there are several teams that are interested in having Jonathan Taylor's services this particular season. Now, does that mean at $4 million, which is what he's currently structured to get in his contract, does that mean they'll sign and trade him and get him to a number closer to where he wants to be long-term, which was allegedly $17 million at one point? Are these teams interested in giving up a first? Or are they interested in giving up like a second and a fifth for the first-round thing? We have no idea how serious all these contenders are, but what we're being told is there's several teams interested. This is good news for all parties here, I think, Boston calling it.
Yeah, absolutely huge. I really did not think that there was going to be any. I thought that there was no chance Jonathan Taylor and Melka, or whatever the guy's name is, were going out.
Malky
Kawa.
He's a businessman.
Okay, well, I thought Kiwi and Jonathan Taylor were going to go out and see if there was going to be any trades, and there wasn't going to be a chance. Who would have the capability to bring this guy in and sign him for what? Not 17 a year, but are we thinking $12 million a year? Is that what he's probably going to command at some other place?
Don't we always say contracts aren't real? Or is it just real in this situation?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like what Jonathan Taylor wants too.
Yeah.
Like have the Colts said, yeah, you can go look and then see what somebody else is willing to offer. And then they're like, all right, well, yeah, fuck, that was what the market said. Here's what you actually get. Did the Colts offer a lesser amount of money and be like, hey, we'll give you $3-4 million more bucks this year, and then that works or doesn't work, or does that work on another team? There's just so much to kind of figure out here, and we are just
15.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Sorry, the days mushed together a little bit, but I mean, to Tony's point, you could probably do the Derrick Henry method, right? Because his was 2 years, actually 28, and it was signed 4 years, 50 or something. Isn't that might be the move to do for Jonathan Taylor then?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely could be.
What teams do you think?
I mean, just looking at
Dolphins.
the money, Bears make the most sense. Yeah. But then you would also think like Philly and Kansas City somehow make something happen.
Flus, I was thinking about it yesterday. Eberflus was there the year that he was almost the offensive MVP did he win offensive player? Or was almost the MVP.
Almost the MVP.
Yeah.
I forget who won the offensive player of the year. It was not him.
Okay.
Tyree?
But like
Justin
Jefferson. Yeah.
But like Flus wasn't there for that bad year, so maybe he's got it in his head like, oh,
This guy's unstoppable. You should have seen what he did in practice. He thought the games are good. You should have seen this fucking guy in practice. Coach, last year, not good. He was like, we weren't good last year either. So we're both coming out of the same situation here. Maybe, and you would think that people that are familiar with the player's game would be the one most interested. That seems to be the way it is. You look at D-Hop, DeAndre Hopkins. Whenever he was on the market, it was Vrabel who was interested in Tennessee, who was with him whenever he was down in Houston, and it was Bill O'Brien and Bill Belichick and everybody up there who were familiar with him whenever he was down in Tennessee or in Houston, when everybody else in the league was saying, nope, don't want this guy, doesn't practice, too much money. And then the guys that are with him are like, yeah, okay. So he doesn't practice a couple days a week.
Okay.
How many paychecks do we all get because of a fucking catch this guy? Yep, deal, boom, we're in there. I would assume Eberflus would be a great outlet for that because he does know him. He does understand what could possibly become. And him and Justin Fields.
Yeah.
That'd be a fun,
hell of a tandem.
fun tandem back there with a weapon on the outside that commands a little bit of respect, so you can't just pack the box. Feels like it would make sense for Chicago to get in there. But would they sign him to a long-term deal? Is that what Jonathan Taylor's looking for? And who else might come in here and just sneak in who's like a Super Bowl contender and be like, if we can get you for $4 million 1 year just because you hate them so bad, we'll try to do that as well.
Yeah, because a report came out this morning about the Bears, like, kind of checking around for the Chris Jones situation because they want to, spend this money and kind of maximize Justin Fields still being on a rookie contract because I assume they, like if he is going to stay there, they're going to have to pay him a bunch of money. But also, isn't it possible that JT decide like that $17 million was his price to stay with the Colts? Like, we don't know what, if all these other teams are coming.
Hometown, dude. They're actually paying more.
Exactly.
Did you hear what Jim said? Yeah, they're paying more
quite a bit
here than somewhere else, which would be wild. That'd be completely backwards than what it normally is.
Right.
So we'll find all that out.
Here's what I will say. Can I tell you what scares me to death? Because your first question was about the AFC East. I'll give you a general AFC East response. Jonathan Taylor could wind up in either Buffalo or Miami. That scares me to death. He is so good. What the hell is going on there
Greeny.
with your Colts and Jonathan Taylor, Patrick?
Greeny, listen.
Get this together.
Yeah, Schefter came on and kind of gave me a little toot as well, and Ian Rappaport gave me a little toot as well. I think the way that the Indianapolis community and the Colts are viewing it is like Jonathan Taylor was the mayor of that team in like everything that we needed. And we're in a full rebuild right now. You know, brand new coach, brand new quarterback, brand new vibes. It was bad last year. I mean, we had people gambling on games. Yeah. We had people showing up late to meetings, to treatment. Like the whole building basically collapsed. And then obviously what happened in Minnesota is like the biggest comeback in the history of the fucking NFL. Like last year was a dumpster fire, and Jonathan Taylor did not play his best football. Now, it's not just Jonathan Taylor's fault, obviously. There's a lot of people that did not play well. So I think in Indianapolis, the thought is like, hey, we are all trying to just get past that whole thing. So when Jonathan Taylor in April said, I'm going to play through my contract, like that ran in Indianapolis, like local news, like, yeah, this is the leader we need. Pumped. This is what we need here. And then all of a sudden, new agent, hey, which I hope they get their money. You got to do whatever you got to do. It changes completely. So I think that is why. I don't think it's just like we don't think Jonathan Taylor's a great player here in Indy. Jonathan Taylor's a fucking dog, dude. If he plays his best football, and given the opportunity, he's incredible at football. But here it's like, I think a lot of people are just like, if you don't want to be here, bub, like, all right.
Good luck.
You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of how I think Indy feels. And that's kind of...
I get it.
Go ahead.
And look, they're not winning the Super Bowl with him this year. So I get it. If they can get a first-round pick or something like that, everything around that team right now has to be based on developing the quarterback. You got to get Anthony Richardson to a place where a year ago today, we're talking about him the way we talk about Justin Fields. Is he the guy knocking on the door of being the next NFL superstar, the next Josh Allen, the next Jalen Hurts? That's where you want to be a year from now. And I get it. Jonathan Taylor doesn't have to be a part of that. So it does make sense if you can get a lot for him, a one or whatever it is that adds up to.
It would have been better earlier, though, when everybody had shit. You know, like when there was a window.
Someone will do it.
Pre-draft.
Someone will do it. Someone will give it to them. Because, look, if the Jets didn't have Dalvin Cook, I would be screaming that the Jets should do it. If the Dolphins do it, I had Sal Palantonio, who is the opposite of me. He's not prone to hyperbole. He's been a reporter for 40 years. He said on my show yesterday, if the Bills get Jonathan Taylor, just put them in the Super Bowl right now. And I think that that makes sense to me. So that scares me to death. I think Jonathan Taylor's ultimate destination will go a long way, could go, and I think will go a long way towards deciding who winds up winning a lot of stuff this year.
Hell yeah, and I hope wherever he goes, somebody's going to have to pay him, though, right? That's a sign and trade. That's not just a trade, right?
Right, they have to make a new deal with him. No one will trade for him unless they know they're going to get a deal done with him. But he knows he's for everything, everyone. People love him, by the way. And I assume you know him personally. I don't. Everybody raves about him. That he's a smart. He knows he's not getting $26 million. He's not getting paid like he's a pass rusher. He's not getting paid like he's a left tackle.
I don't know if that's true, Greeny.
You think he thinks he's going to get paid the amount of money that that some of the big star that those days are over.
Well, that's what I think a lot of that's kind of a part of the whole thing as well, because I think he was kind of taking a stand for the running backs as a whole too.
Right.
Remember they had
but he's going to get more than $4 million. I mean, the franchise number is $11 million. He's certainly worth that. And there are a lot of teams out there that can pay him that. And for him, that'll be a lot of money. And it's a lot more than he's guaranteed to make.
I think you're misreading. I think you're misreading the. I might be wrong, because you would assume that Jim Irsay and Chris Ballard and Jonathan Taylor at some point over the last couple of weeks since the shit has started, where they've gone like, hey, we can give you like $4 million more. We'll make it guaranteed. And then we talk next offseason, it's $8 million. That helps a little bit. That's more than Austin Eckler. That's more than a couple other guys. Yep. But also, you're going to be a free agent at the end of the year. You would think that would have happened, right? I would hope that would have taken place.
I would assume so, yes.
But then if that did take place, then that means that Jonathan Taylor and team said, no, we want to, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
He wants his money now.
Yeah.
I think he wants a 3-year extension. I'm just making things up here, to be very clear.
Yeah, we all are. I don't know shit about fuck either, and I'm in the city, so it's like, yeah.
But if you gave him, a 3-year extension at the kind of money that Saquon Barkley is going to make this year and Tony Pollard, the franchise tag running backs, I would have to believe he would take that. And look, he's 24 years old. Listen, at this point, we're just speculating so recklessly now, it's pointless. Here's what I will say. I believe he's going to get traded. And I believe if you put him on the Cowboys, they should absolutely do it. And that would shift the balance of power in the NFC. I think if you put him on the Bills or the Dolphins, it could shift the balance of power in the AFC.
Tony Pollard's like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah.
You know, just sitting down there in Dallas. Jerry
Tony
said,
Pollard should love it. He should love it. My man, Tony Pollard he's an accent piece. Ryan Clark said it great on Get Up. He said putting Tony Pollard in that offense is like driving a Lamborghini into a demolition derby. You give that guy the ball 23 times a game and ask him to run up between the tackles, he won't make it to October. So he needs a workhorse. He needs like Zeke. He needs who Ezekiel Elliott used to be, and that's who Jonathan Taylor is. And then Pollard gets his like 14 touches a game in which he is dynamic and makes big plays. That's what he's meant to be. I think that is a perfect pairing.
Was that your show where he said Justin Jefferson, George Pickens thing, Ryan?
No, he said that. No, we played it, but he.
No. We certainly got a pop off it. Yeah. We certainly. Hey, Ryan, remember you? We'll remind everybody. This just happened. Certainly, Ryan. By the way, congratulations to him. Monday Night Football Countdown wins the Emmy last year. That George Pickens, Justin Jefferson thing was obviously his opinion, and a lot of people disagreed with it. That's going to happen when you're stepping in there. And I guess the accent piece is okay, but like I think Jerry said. I got a lot of faith in our young running backs right now. I'm not looking ahead to that room at all. I thought with the Zeke non-signing and him going there, I assumed they were like, hey, Tony and whoever else, this is your room. If they were bringing Jonathan Taylor, good luck. I think Swagoo would love that, obviously, because they would be back in good conversation, good graces. If Jonathan Taylor's playing like he was playing 2 years ago, which we assume, right? We'll just assume that takes place?
We're going to hope so. I mean, he was hurt last year, and hopefully he isn't hurt now. Look, Jerry Jones told us 2 weeks ago he had no money for Zach Martin. And then all of a sudden he had money for Zach Martin. I don't pay much attention to what people say, just pay attention to what they do. The Cowboys need Jonathan Taylor. I think the Bills need Jonathan Taylor. I think the Bills need someone to run the ball who isn't their quarterback. And Jonathan Taylor is pretty much as good at it as anybody.